It happens in the quiet moments, doesn't it? You wake up, determined to focus on the day ahead, and then, like a phantom presence, he slips into your thoughts. You can't quite pinpoint why. Perhaps he doesn't speak to you anymore, or maybe he disappeared from your life a long time ago. And yet, he's still there, living rent-free in a corner of your mind. It feels like something more than a memory, something you can't quite articulate. An invisible connection that still seems to pulse with life, even in the total silence, without a single message, call, or sign of his presence. In that silence, the questions begin to echo. Is this just nostalgia playing tricks on my heart? Is it possible, just possible, that he feels it too? Is the universe trying to send me a signal? And the most painful question of all, why can't I just let him go? If this is your reality right now, please take a deep breath and know this. You are not going crazy. There is a profound explanation for what you're experiencing, and more importantly, there is a way to shift the energy of this entire situation. What you're feeling is likely a potent mix of a real energetic connection, a deeply ingrained emotional pattern, and perhaps even an unconscious manifestation you've set into motion. The most important task before you now is to understand what this persistent thought truly signifies and how you can transform this lingering feeling from a source of confusion into a source of clarity and personal strength. Today, we're going to explore this phenomenon, drawing on the timeless wisdom of thinkers like Carl Jung about energy, focus, and vibration. But we'll do it in a simple, direct way that can genuinely help you. This isn't about complicated theories. It's about finally understanding what that man in your mind is trying to show you, and more importantly, what his presence in your thoughts reveals about you. The reality of the invisible thread. There are things we feel that defy easy explanation. You try to occupy your mind, to distract yourself by going out, talking to new people, and throwing yourself into your work. But then, in an unguarded moment, he returns. No matter how much time has passed or how many times you've resolved to forget him, the feeling rushes back with the same intensity, as if an invisible thread is gently but persistently pulling your thoughts back toward him. But let's be clear, this isn't necessarily just nostalgia, and it doesn't automatically mean he is the destined love of your life. What is truly happening here is a powerful lesson in focus. The great psychoanalyst Carl Jung taught that wherever you place your attention, you place your energy. This is the very foundation of how we co-create our reality. So, if your thoughts are constantly circling back to him, even in his physical absence, you are, in essence, feeding an energetic connection. You are keeping it alive not out of malice, but out of habit, emotional intensity, and a deep-seated pattern. And that energy is not neutral. It vibrates, it creates, and it attracts. Sometimes, you think about someone with such concentration that you become convinced they must be thinking of you, too, even when there's no tangible proof. This can absolutely be true. When two people share moments of profound intensity, be it joy, love, or even pain, an energetic exchange occurs, and echoes of that exchange can linger in the silence. But here is the crucial question you must ask yourself. Is this feeling a genuine, psychic connection, or is it a reflection of an inner emptiness that you have yet to fill? Many of us confuse the intensity of emotional attachment with the clarity of intuition. We believe that because a feeling is powerful, it must be a sign of destiny. But often, it's simply our mind clinging to familiarity. It's seeking the comfort of a known emotional state, even if that state was once a source of pain. Your mind often prefers the painful and familiar to the vast, uncertain emptiness of the unknown. That is why it is absolutely vital to understand what is keeping you tethered to this thought. Without that clarity, you can remain trapped in an emotional loop, a cycle that takes you nowhere but simply keeps you spinning in the same place, year after year? Is it him or what he represents? Sometimes the ache we feel isn't for the person we lost. It's for the feeling we had when we were with them. It's for the person we were or the future we imagined. When that is the case, your mind desperately tries to relive those moments, believing that through the sheer power of thought, it can resurrect the past. But the past cannot be revived, and the immense energy you continue to invest in someone who has already walked away is the very energy you are meant to be investing in yourself. There is a truth here that is rarely spoken, but it changes everything. Thinking about someone constantly is not always a sign of a spiritual bond. It can simply be your brain's addiction to a familiar pattern. As Jung observed, our thoughts trigger our emotions, and those emotions create a distinct chemistry in our bodies. Over time, we can become addicted to that specific chemical cocktail. This means you might be, without even realizing it, addicted to the sensation that man ignited within you. Not to him as a person, but to the emotional chemistry your mind and body came to associate with his presence. That is why, even though he is gone, your body still craves that feeling. The persistent thoughts are a trigger, activating an emotion your body learned to desire. The most effective way to break this cycle is to ask yourself, with radical honesty, what do I truly feel when I think about him? If the answer is a knot of distress, a pang of anxiety, a fear of loss, or a hollow sense of emptiness, then what you are doing is not manifestation. It is repetition. It is your system trying to relive something that is over, simply because it hasn't yet learned how to feel safe, whole, and joyful in something new. However, when you begin to feel a sense of peace, lightness, and excitement just by imagining a healthy, new, and beautiful future for yourself, that is when you begin to truly manifest. You stop repeating what once hurt you and start creating what you genuinely deserve to experience. It all starts with achieving emotional clarity, and that clarity only arrives when you finally choose to listen to the whispers of your own heart. The real law of attraction, it's not what you want, it's what you are. When we speak of the law of attraction, many people picture it as a cosmic vending machine. Think positive thoughts, make a request to the universe, and then wait for your order to be delivered. But the truth is far more profound and far more personal. Attraction is happening constantly, but it doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you vibrate. It responds to who you are on a fundamental, energetic level. This is the secret that unlocks everything. It is useless to say you want a light-hearted, joyful love, if, deep down, you are still vibrating with the heavy anxiety of needing to be chosen. There is no point in asking for a committed, trusting relationship if you are vibrating with the deep-seated insecurity of not feeling good enough. The law of attraction is not about forcing reality to bend to your will. It is about aligning yourself so completely with what you wish to experience that you become a vibrational match for it. To align means to become the person who would already be ready to receive and sustain that beautiful love. As Jung would say, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. This means you must begin to feel now what you wish to experience in the future. This requires presence, awareness, and a conscious decision. Here is a powerful practice. Close your eyes and imagine a relationship where you feel completely safe, deeply respected, and utterly free to be your authentic self. Don't put his face on it, don't give it a name, just feel the sensation of it. Allow your body, your very cells, to become accustomed to this new emotional frequency. Your body needs to learn how to feel this peace before your eyes can see it. When you start to vibrate with this new energy, an energy of worthiness, lightness, and wholehearted love, you become magnetic. It's as if you transform into a natural beacon for everything that resonates with this new version of you. At that point, one of two things will happen. Either the man you've been thinking of will have to rise to meet this new frequency, or he will naturally drift away, making space for someone new who is already aligned with the incredible woman you have become. The truth is, many times, what we miss is not the person, but the way we so desperately wanted to be loved by them. Once you understand this, you stop searching for that love in others and begin cultivating it within yourself. When you operate from a place of awareness, presence, and clarity, the law of attraction simply responds. Not because you asked, but because you became. The echo in the silence, does he think about me too? This is the question that haunts so many hearts. After all this, does he think about me too? It is such a human, such a real question. When we feel a connection that is this strong, even in total silence, it feels impossible that it could be one-sided. It seems as though the other person must feel the echo too. And sometimes that is absolutely true. Energy is a two-way street. When two hearts have vibrated together with intensity, a resonance can continue to echo long after the interaction has ended. This can manifest in strange and subtle ways. You might have a vivid dream about him out of nowhere. A song you shared might play at the exact moment he crosses your mind. You might feel a sudden, inexplicable sense of his presence, as if he were near, even when he's miles away. These signs can be real, but they can also be projections of your own energy, which is desperately searching for confirmation that this story isn't over. But here is the most important part. What do you do with it? Because knowing whether or not he is thinking of you does not change your present reality. It doesn't change the fact that he is not present, not messaging, not showing up for you in the way you deserve. So, instead of trying to decode the invisible, the most powerful thing you can do is to change the question. Instead of asking, "Is he thinking of me?" begin to ask, "How do I feel when I think of him? Does this thought uplift me or drain me? Does it empower me or leave me feeling small?" The universe doesn't respond to your hopes, it responds to your vibration. When you stop chasing signs and start focusing on your own inner clarity, everything shifts. If something is meant for you, it will unfold with a sense of ease and grace. If it is not, it will gently move out of your path. What is truly yours will never demand that you lose yourself in the desperate pursuit of trying to understand it. Real intuition feels light, not desperate. A true connection brings a sense of peace, not a storm of anxiety. When you feel a constant, nagging pressure to know, to understand, to confirm, you are likely operating from a place of fear, not intuitive guidance. The path back to yourself, what to do with this feeling so you've had the realization. This constant loop of thinking about him has more to do with you than it does with him. Now what? What do you actually do with this feeling that refuses to leave? Understanding it logically is one thing, but the heart doesn't have an off switch. It does, however, have a compass. And when you consciously choose where to direct your energy, everything begins to change. That feeling you carry, whether it's nostalgia, pain, confusion, or even desire, is simply energy in motion. Energy that is resisted becomes a blockage. But energy that is acknowledged, embraced, and redirected becomes your greatest strength. The first step is to stop fighting what you feel. Feeling this is not a weakness. It is the raw material of your transformation. How you handle this raw material will determine whether it traps you or sets you free. A simple but profoundly powerful practice is to write. Take a piece of paper and write down everything you wish you could say to him. Let it all out, uncensored and unfiltered. This is not a letter you will ever send. It is a ritual of release. It removes the immense weight from your soul and gives a voice to the emotions that have been trapped inside your body. Sometimes, we need to see our own words on a page to finally understand what we truly feel. Another transformative practice is to consciously shift your focus. Instead of expending your precious energy trying to understand him, pivot inward and ask yourself, what do I need right now? What am I truly lacking in this moment that I am projecting onto his absence? This is when you begin to do the one thing that changes everything. You return home to yourself. You begin to meticulously care for your own energy, your personal space, your inner glow. You start listening to yourself again, seeing yourself again, and loving yourself again. The more you strengthen your own core, the less you will feel the need for someone else to complete you. There is also a beautiful visualization technique that can help reprogram your subconscious mind. Each night, before you fall asleep, imagine yourself living a vibrant, joyful chapter of your life. See it in full color. Imagine a life filled with high self-worth, easy laughter, and light, supportive people around you. Create this scene so vividly that you can feel it in your body, as if it is already happening. When you consistently feel good on your own, you naturally stop seeking out people and situations that do not make you feel good. This feeling won't disappear overnight, but when you change the path through which it flows, it stops being a source of pain and starts becoming a guide, gently leading you towards something far greater than the chapter that may have already reached its end. Remember, it is okay to have difficult days. This journey is not about forcing toxic positivity. It's about honoring what you feel while consciously choosing not to build a permanent home in that feeling. Allow yourself to feel it all, but do not allow it to become the lens through which you see your entire world. The unspoken allure of a woman who is whole. When you begin this sacred work of reconnecting with yourself, something magical happens. Your energy shifts, and without even trying, you become profoundly attractive. Not in a forced or calculated way, not because you are employing strategies of seduction, but because you are vibrating with the irresistible frequencies of confidence, presence, and truth. This is what truly captivates a worthy partner. True seduction has nothing to do with chasing, overexposing yourself, or trying to prove your value. True magnetism happens in the invisible. It's the unmistakable energy of a woman who can walk into a room, say nothing, and yet everyone feels her presence. She isn't trying to be noticed because she is already fully engaged in noticing and honoring herself. First and foremost, protect your energy above all else. There is nothing more beautiful than a woman who feels good in her own skin. When you radiate this inner well-being, you become effortlessly magnetic. Second, learn to value the power of silence and mystery. Mystery isn't about playing games. It's about having a rich, full inner world that is entirely your own. When you reveal everything, chase relentlessly, and constantly seek validation, you give away your power. But when you remain centered, peaceful, and grounded in your own life, you create a space of curiosity and genuine interest. Finally, show up with presence, not lack. Your presence is your ultimate introduction. If you appear with a sense of lightness, good humor, and an unhurried grace, it is utterly captivating. Most people are silently begging for validation. You don't need it. And if you ever want to know if he truly cares, stop looking for signs and watch his actions. A man who is genuinely interested will show you. He will not confuse you, disappear on you, or play games with your heart. He will move closer. He will want to be in your orbit. Real, aligned love does not require exhaustive effort. It fits. And if it doesn't fit, it's only because something far better is on its way. When you stop hiding behind the fear of loss, you are finally seen for who you truly are. At that point, there is no effort, only magnetism. Authenticity will always be more attractive than any strategy. It is, and always was, your choice in the end. It all comes down to a single, powerful choice. Your choice. When you stop chasing answers in someone else and start listening to the profound wisdom within you, You have the startling realization that the thing you were missing was never him. It was you. It was your own gaze turned inward. It was your own self-love, patiently waiting to be reawakened. There is nothing in this world stronger, more seductive, or more magnetic than a woman who chooses herself. A woman who knows what she feels but refuses to drown in it. A woman who can acknowledge a connection but never loses herself in it. A woman who can love another deeply but never, ever stops loving herself first. That woman doesn't beg for attention. She attracts it by being the center of her own life. She doesn't wait to be chosen, she chooses. She doesn't hope to be noticed, she shines. When you choose yourself, everything else begins to align. People who are not on your frequency will naturally and peacefully exit your life. Situations that once felt heavy and burdensome will begin to lose their grip. Slowly but surely, the weight of the past becomes lighter, because now, something far stronger is guiding you. Your presence, your awareness, and your unwavering decision to live a life that feels true and beautiful to you. You don't need external guarantees to believe that the right love will come. You just need to choose not to abandon yourself. Every time you respect your feelings, embrace yourself in difficult moments, and choose to move forward with grace, you make more room for what is real. And if that man who still lingers in your thoughts is a part of your true path, he will return. Not because you waited for him, but because you moved forward with so much authenticity and self-love that the universe itself conspired to align your meeting. And if it's not him, it will be someone who truly sees you. Someone who is in the same rhythm, vibrating with the same energy, and ready to meet you with the same level of devotion that you have finally learned to give yourself. In the end, it was never about him. It has always been about you. When you choose yourself, your entire world changes. When you honor yourself, your life transforms. And when you decide that you are worthy of a love that is real, light, and deeply nourishing, the universe moves to bring it to you. The magic was never in controlling another person. It was in becoming so whole within yourself that only what is equally whole can come close. And that, my dear, is true freedom.